I'll start from scratch because new candidates are also there. So, my introduction, I'm Siddharth Agrawal, BTech IT and MBA, and I'm working as IT consultant at Spike Reply GmbH in Cologne. Before I start, here's a disclaimer. I'm also a learner, and I can also make mistakes. So please bear with me because It's like you are in third or fourth standard, and I am in fifth standard. That's the only difference between you and me. So I'm not a professor or a PhD holder in German language or something. Yeah. So please bear with me. Going ahead. Huh. Uh, so what is the use? I mean, why are we conducting these classes when we are having DeepL or Google Translator or so many tools like these? So I give you one classic example. If you yourself try it over Google, just type this. Was ist der Unterschied zwischen warum, weshalb, weswegen, darum, deshalb and deswegen? These are all, the most of the words in German are context based. If I take an example of a character called aus, so believe me friends, there are more than 6 meaning of this word. And they are all dependent upon the context on which it is used. Likewise, ein, auf, these are all the words which are context based. So if you bluntly go for these Google translators or any engines, software engines, you will probably end up with the next slide that I want to show. Here what Google says. What is the difference between why, and why? Yeah. So for every character, for every word, it is mentioning only why as a translation. So that's why we need to learn German, because we can definitely take support of these software tools, but we cannot blindly depend upon them. In addition to this, as you will learn in later on, there are 2 ways of addressing people. One is duzen and one is siezen. This is like if we talk to our colleagues or to our friends or batchmates or somebody who is of same age or same cadre or same profile, then we use it as duzen. However, when we are talking to somebody who is respectable, say a professor or maybe police or maybe any government official, then we have to use C. So likewise, if you write a letter, any official letter or any application letter to any organization or any official in Germany, then you have to take care that whether you're talking to a person of same profile or you're talking to somebody who is respected to you or maybe of a higher cadre to you. So in that case, you have to take care whether you should duzen or sitzen, and that's why you need to understand German. That's another strong reason to learn German. And apart from that, probably by now, because everybody is staying in Germany, we know it that we can only run away from German language, but at the end, we have to learn it. We cannot sustain without, keeping ourselves alien to this language. There is a common saying that never ever interrupt a German. This is most important, friends. I'll tell you, unlike in English language, the moment somebody starts a sentence, you can actually figure out what is the context of the sentence or whether the sentence ends up in a positive note or on a negative note. That is, the person is actually negating or accepting a thing. But in German, the last character mostly will be a verb or maybe a deciding factor in a sentence. This is all you will learn over a period of time. So thereby, it is always said that apart from a good manner, it is mandatory that you let the German speak his or her sentence completely, and then only interrupt him, or maybe put your views only after the other person has spoken completely. So that's most important. Whenever somebody is speaking German, let the other person completely speak and then only put your views. A funny example. If you straight away jump upon this character, 555. It looks like this. So this should not be the case with you. This guy is starting to learn German, and probably the moment he learned this, and he is packing up. So make sure that you don't land up in such things. You don't get overwhelmed with the complexities. Step by step, if we go, I'm sure that it's not that hard as it looks like. Erfolg is ein Eisberg. This is what normally I show to every candidate, that if you see somebody who has learned German and who you think is probably good at German language, this is only what you see. But beneath that goes a lot of things that you also need to follow. Training is one of them, hard work, I don't know what's this, discipline. Sometimes you will be demotivated also, because if you think one way, and that's unfortunately the wrong way to think, then you will be demotivated at times. But then that's okay. That happens with everybody. There will be some type of Ablehnung, that is rejections, critics. You will have many doubts. Opferung, that means you have to sacrifice in terms of your time. Right now you are giving your time, that means you are sacrificing. So it really requires your dedication. You will be making many mistakes. For that reason, I am always there. Tapferkeit, I don't know what's this. And then your Ausdauer means your persistence, that you have to continue it. You have to go ahead in this direction only. Don't take it like I'll do only on weekends or something like that. You have to immerse yourself in this language, because the way we learn, we forget it at much faster pace. Another thing, don't mix English and Deutsch. Friends, you will find that there are many things, many words in German which are quite confusing. For example, warte auf. I'll give you an example. If I'll say, I am waiting for train. So what we say, waiting for, F-O-R. Now in German also there is a word called für. So if you always interrelate English and German, you probably will say, ich warte für Zug. Or you can say, ich warte für den Zug. So never compare English and German. In English it will be, ich warte auf. We'll definitely go in depth later on, but just to give you an example, that there are certain pitfalls. If you start if you start using your English knowledge and start applying over German, then you will make a big mistakes. So make sure that you don't interrelate English and German. There are certain words in in German. There are certain confusion words. For example, will. Will in English, as you all know, it's like for future I'm saying something that I will buy something, for example. But in German, it is want. Ich will kaufen. If somebody says that I will kaufen in German, ich will kaufen, that means I want to buy something. And if it is in English, it will be something like I am going to buy something. So it's something to do with future tense in English. So it's entirely different in German and English. Bekommen. So you know it very well. Bekommen is to become a doctor, a professor, engineer or something. But in German, bekommen means to receive something. It's a verb. So don't compare these, don't mix these English and German words. Perfect pronunciation. So friends, I'll take care. You probably will feel a little, confused oder ärgert. Was ist ärgert? A little angry if I keep stopping you when you make mistakes while pronunciation. But friends, believe me, if you make the right and flawless pronunciation at the first time, you'll always do it the right way in the future also. So make sure that you pronounce rightly, and I'm always there to correct it right at the moment you make a mistake. So for example, haben. If we go by the words, we'll call it as haben. But in German, it will be haben. Haben. Yeah. May I ask everybody to please pronounce this word right away, one by one?
Haben.
Okay. Next, please.
Haben.
Haben. Make sure you speak haben. Haben. That is, the N is only 50% pronounced. Haben.
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 Genau.
Haben.
Haben. And then this is habe. Please speak it.
Haben.
Habe.
Haben.
Yeah. Now this is, I'm sorry I made a mistake here. It is bureau. Please try this, bureau.
Bureau.
Yeah, bureau. The emphasis is over R.
Bureau. Bureau.
No, not bureau. It's entirely wrong. Bureau.
Bureau.
Yeah. But you know the R word, it is like a grumbling of an animal. Maybe like a dog or a cat. Grr. For example, if you were to speak radio, it is not radio. It is radio.
Radio. Radio.
Radio.
Yeah. This is the right way.
Radio.
Radio. I mean,
Radio.
that grumbling sound should come up. Yeah. Now, if we take Montag, literally it is Montag. But if you pronounce in German, it is Montag. Montag.
Montag.
Yeah, Montag.
Montag. Montag.
Yeah, Montag. Okay.
Montag.
Others, please
Montag.
pronounce. Everybody, please give a try.
Montag.
Yeah, that's right.
Montag.
Montag. Richtig. Likewise, we call it, many people will say Guten Tag. Yeah.
Guten Tag.
Yeah. If you see, it is Guten Tag, but if it is being pronounced, it is Guntag.
Montag.
Yeah, Guntag. Yeah. So make sure, this all things will be taken care of in our next chapters. But make sure that you pronounce it always the right way. Now, this course is basically over everyday German. That is, how do you interact in your everyday life? So we will focus more upon situations. Like suppose if you were to buy something from Rewe or Penny or something, and how do you deal with the Schalter, with the lady who is selling, and then obviously how to handle the official things like interviews or any presentations, making appointments. You all know that nothing works here without appointment. So how do you make an appointment over telephone? And of course, understanding daily terms. There are many things that you probably see on your buses or anywhere. So how do we understand those terms? Now this is all about syllabus, and that's probably not required at all. Only thing that I expect from you guys is student must devote at least 1 hour after the classes. So maybe the good thing is I'm going to upload it over YouTube. So you may have a recheck it over YouTube also, and keep yourself in touch with it. Don't leave it like you do it on Saturday and Sunday, and then next Friday only you are touching it. That should not be like that. Please interrupt me anytime. Wherever you feel you have any doubt or anything to comment or any valuable or anything to discuss upon, you can immediately break me and ask your questions. I'm always there on group, so you can always text me or group, and keep yourself immersed in language. Yeah, that's most important. Last thing, we forget at a rate faster than we learn. Just remember this. Believe me, friends, I also made a 2 years break in my German language way back in 2016-17 when I went for an MBA course. And trust me, friends, after 2 years, it was absolutely vanished. I could not even recall any grammar rules, and I was totally zero then. So you'll forget it extremely fast. So make sure that you stay in touch with this language all the times. Thanks. Okay, so any questions till now, friends? Any questions, friends?
9.
Others?
No, Siddharth, we are fine.
You're fine?
9.
All right. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to take up today is
9.
pronunciation. Yeah, that's most important. That's most important because this is the basics of German language. Yeah. So I request everybody to start with me, pronounce with me. So the first character we are going to learn is A. In English we call it as A, but in German it is A. Please pronounce, everybody.
A.
Yeah, right. That's right. Then it is B.
B.
Right, B. Then this one, C.
C.
Yeah. Then this is D. Yeah. Day, you can call it as in English we have day, right? The same pronunciation, day.
Yeah.
Then this one is not E. Make sure that you don't call it as E. It is A. Yeah. Which actually appears like English A. Okay.
A.
It sounds like English A. Okay. Somebody please pronounce this character immediately.
A.
Yeah. And this is say.
C.
Right. Then here comes F. Yeah.
F.
Yeah. Make sure it's not F. It is F. I mean, there are double F. Yeah.
F.
Yeah. Okay. Then it is gay. All right.
Gay.
Yeah. Make sure you don't just speak gay. It's not gay. It's gay. That is, what happens if you were to speak in a German accent, you have to give extra emphasis. You have to give extra emphasis on these last characters. Most of the time, you will find that these characters play a very important role. Yeah. So make sure that you call it as gay. Going ahead, it's ha. I heard only two voices.
Ha.
Yeah, ha. Now, this is a little confusing. It is E. Now, E is something like English E. But it is I, yeah, in German. I mean, you pronounce it as E, which is English I. It's a little confusing. I will give you an example of IKEA. Right? So, will you call it as IKEA or IKEA?
No, the problem with us is we will call IKEA, but actually it is IKEA.
Yes. Make sure, friends, it is very confusing because if somebody's name has this character, let's say Amit. Amit will definitely make a big mistake if we call it as R-M-E-T. Yeah, I mean he has to call it as E. I mean in German it will be E, but if we call it as R-M-I-T, then I don't know what the next person will understand. So make sure this is English E, you can call it as when you pronounce it. Going ahead, this is J for Jack. So we call it as yacht. Please pronounce.
Yacht.
Others?
Yacht.
I heard only two voices. Is somebody missing? Raghu, are you there?
Yeah, I was the first one. I only said yeah.
Okay, Dr. Kishore? Dr. Kishore? Maybe, I don't know. And Chetan, you spoke the next word, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Going ahead, it is ka.
Ka.
Chetan and Dr. Kishore and
Ka.
Raghu. Yeah, ka. Then going ahead is L. This is very
L.
common. I mean, L. Actually, L, M and N makes no difference. They are exactly the same as in English.
L.
Yeah, L.
L, M, N.
All right. Okay, now Dr. Kishore is back.
Yeah, net. I have some net problem.
No
It's
problems.
yeah, fine.
No
Yeah.
problems. Okay, so now going ahead, it is O.
Oh,
Yeah, it is.
O.
You can call it as
Oh.
quite same to English also, same.
oh, yeah.
O.
Right?
Oh.
Oh,
Going ahead, pay.
hey,
Pay.
Yeah.
hey.
And make sure it is not Q, it is Ku. Just call it as Ku.
Ku.
Yeah. For example, Queen, if you were to speak, then you call it as Ku, U, E-E-N. I'm sorry. A-A-N. That's right. So, I mean, it takes time. Even I get confused many times, but that's fine. Now, this is a deciding factor. Don't call it as R. It is R.
Arr,
Yeah.
arr,
Yeah. Like you have to give an additional, pressure, additional energy to pronounce this character. R.
arr, arr.
R.
Yeah. For example, if I were to say radio, it is radio.
Radio,
Yeah.
radio.
Somebody please speak out this character, this word.
Roll.
No.
No,
Roll.
no.
Yeah, roll is you spoke without giving extra emphasis on r. Roll.
Roll,
Roll.
Yeah.
roll.
Roll.
It takes some time, I understand.
Yeah.
But you know what? As a thumb rule, Zowite, till now I have understood is if there is a word like harbor which has E at the end, it gives a sound of BB for the previous character, harbor. Right?
Hub.
Yeah, it's kind of spoken like this. For example, roll. So here
Roll.
it will give an impression of
Double.
LL. Roll.
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 Yeah,
Roll.
roll. Yeah.
Roll.
Roll.
Roll. Give.
We have to use our tongue
Yeah. You.
strongly.
Yeah.
Strongly. Yeah.
I mean, that's the difference between English and German. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you talk to any kind of typical German, so you'll find out that he is giving a lot of extra emphasis on his speaking. That is, the tongue is he's giving extra energy to speak simple words also. So that difference comes here then. Going ahead, this is normal S. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is normal T.
Te.
Yeah.
Te.
Te.
Make sure it is not T. That T is
Te.
wrong. It is Te.
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 Okay. Further. This is U.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oops.
Ooh.
Moment.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah. And this is U is normally the same. I mean, oh, what's happened? ये क्या हुआ? Yeah. So this is U. That is, just a common, like you give it an example of Ur. Ur means clock.
Clock.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
So Ur. So
Oh.
yeah,
Oh.
it's very simple. Now make sure this is foul. This is not V, it
Foul.
is foul. Yeah. FOW. Please
Foul.
speak out.
Foul.
Correct.
Fall.
Oh. Oh.
So how would I speak this?
De.
De.
Foul. De.
De.
Yes.
Right.
De foul de. Yeah.
De for de.
Right. And
De for de. De for de.
and this one is ve.
Ve.
Yeah.
Ve.
Way.
Right. So it's very simple. I mean, obviously, I think even in English we don't call it as W. I mean, it's named as W, but if you take any word, there's hardly
Water.
any. I mean, world, for example, WORLD, but
Yeah.
the usage is different than what we pronounce this character as.
Correct.
Yeah. Likewise. Then comes X. That is, just a small mutation of X. You can call it as X.
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 Yeah.
X.
X.
Right. Now this is epsilon. Now there are very
Epsilon.
little words. There I probably have found only yak as a name in German, which starts with Y. But otherwise, this epsilon has a very limited usage in German.
Yeah.
All right. Then called Z.
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 It is written as Tset, but you better call it as Tset. Something like this.
Zet.
Yeah. Tset.
Z.
Yeah.
Z. ZSET kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Z.
But
Z.
Z.
this T, the first T needs to be given some extra emphasis. Tset.
Z.
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 Right?
I think we have so many words with that actually.
Yeah.
Z.
With
Starts
Z,
with T.
Z is very common. For example, if I were to say, I just spoke this word Dutzen.
Yeah.
So it is not DUZEN. That is wrong. If you were to speak it, you have to call it as Dutzen.
Dutzen.
Yeah, actually.
Dutzen.
Dutzen. Wait, I'll make it a little more clear. Because this DZ is actually T set, as we learned in the previous slide.
Yeah.
So please speak out this word, friends. Dutzen.
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 Yeah, Dutzen. Yeah.
Dutzen. Yeah.
Dutzen. Dutzen. Okay.
Otherwise, what about this?
Yeah.
This is dozen.
Dutzen.
Dutzen.
No.
No. It is
Dutzen.
O.
Yeah, this time it is O.
O.
Dutzen.
Yeah.
Dutzen.
Dotzen is.
Dutzen.
You better call it as Dotzen. Genau, Dotzen.
Dutzen. Yeah.
And what about SIEZEN? Sitzen?
Sitzen.
Yeah.
Season. Season. Yeah.
Season.
Not season. Make sure,
Season.
friend. No, not season. Sitzen.
Sitzen.
Season. Correct.
Sid.
Yes.
Sitzen.
Yeah. You call it in English like
Sitzen.
SITZEN.
Season. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if E comes, that is like a little different. I got confused with it.
No. there's not much to do with here. I mean, don't confuse with that Haber rule that I told you last time. That is different. Here, I'm only focusing upon Z,
Z.
which is not Z, it is TZ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DZ. Yeah.
So just make sure. However, over a period of time, I will be interrupting you the moment you make any, pronunciation failure, a mistake. So that's not a big issue. Apart from these 26 characters, there are 4 more characters. So one of them is this one. And if I were to say what is this character name is a umlaut.
Umlaut.
This is not pronunciation. Make sure, friends. This is
Yeah.
a umlaut. Okay, this is the name of this character. And how do we pronounce it is A. Yeah, that is like English A, you can call it as pronunciation. Because in the typical in German, this character in German is you remember? Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, somebody like suppose if you wake up in the morning and you say something like this. Yeah, but yeah, but if you put these 2 dots over it, umlaut, then it becomes English A. Like yeah, hey, what are you doing? We call it na.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can use it as in German there is a character word called bear. That is like beer, na? That bhalu, bear. Or pronunciation looks like Mac. Although there is no umlaut there, but how we pronounce Mac, that A sound comes as umlaut sound. All right. Okay, going ahead. Yeah, how do I clear it?
So you don't have control Z?
I tried it, but it's not working.
Okay. No, I did not use much.
No issues, no issues. It's done. All right. The other special character is O. Yeah. And the name of this character is O umlaut. Okay. Now, for example, this is oil. In German, it is known as L. Sorry, not L. L. A little 70% right.
So how do you can you just put in English word?
I don't think there is any English. This is only you have to listen to the character. You cannot write it down.
Okay. All.
Not all. L. I mean, there's a twist of your tip of your mouth. L. Yeah. A little better. L.
L.
Yeah, L.
No. Not L. Not
L.
at all. No. L. A-O-L. Something like this.
Okay.
A-O-L.
Okay.
Correct? All.
Yeah. Something like
Yeah,
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes time,
Okay.
but you'll get to it very soon.
Yeah.
All right. Going ahead. This is the normal U was, you remember, Ur. I gave an example, na? Ur.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. And here it is U. U, for example, in English. Okay, I'll give you an example. Go for example, Fünf. Fünf means 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you pronounce this character, friends? Fünf. Yeah.
Fun.
And please speak out this character then. How do we call it as? U.
You.
Yes.
You.
Yeah.
You.
Not you. Please make sure. Not
It's not
you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
This is wrong.
You.
EU.
you.
EU. For example,
You.
yeah, EU. European bolte na EU.
You.
You.
That's
Uh-huh.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
You.
need you need
You.
to make your pig
Me.
mouth.
You.
Yeah. You have to twist tip of your mouth. EU.
Yeah. You.
Right? Great. Going ahead.
You.
Friends, I'll strongly recommend, you, because I'll be uploading this on YouTube. So you have a
Yeah.
look at it whenever you feel like, and at least maybe like in the middle of the week also, you please have a look at it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last character that we wanted to discuss is Se.
Beta.
Yes, beta, or we call it as
Sharp S.
yeah,
Z. Z.
Sharp S.
yeah. It is pronounced as Z.
Z.
Or you
Double
can,
S.
in simple words, because we are not
Only
going
one.
to go for C2 exam. So it makes very little difference. You just learn it as double S. That's all.
Yeah, double S. Yes.
Yeah. So, for example, flus. Flus means river.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here you can simply write it as flus. Okay.
Another good example is Strache. So that is
Yes,
where
yes.
usually we will.
Yes, you are absolutely right. That's something which touches everybody.
Exactly.
Strasse.
Yes.
Strache.
But you know what, friends? These 4 characters that we learned just now, they are exclusively German characters.
Yeah.
And you won't find these characters available on the websites of American sites, for example, or UK sites.
Correct.
Yeah. So, in those examples, you can always put them as their corresponding English characters. Like, for example, if I were to write Strasse, I would simply write as Strasse. That's also accepted. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even umlaut, if you'll see, you can always replace in English as simply umlaut. So just make sure that, because at times I have myself faced this problem that I put these special characters because my German keyboard allows me to put these special characters. And at the end when I fill up the online form, it gives me an error. And at times even the error is not clearly mentioned that what the error is. There is only one error, it will say. So make sure that if you find any such errors while filling any online form, most likely these characters may be giving that error. Yeah.
See that one question. So, for example, Cologne, right? So if you write in German K-O,
Yeah.
umlaut O and ELN. So usually, it will be even if you want to write it in English, not English translation,
Yeah.
but usually they will write it as K, O-E-L-N actually.
Yes.
So
Actually, these are things like although for example Raghu will be, even in Mars if he go, he will be only Raghu,
yeah,
right? I mean that name will never change, but
correct.
for some things in Germany names are also changed.
Yeah, that is what I was
Yeah.
wondering.
So this is I don't know if there is any kind of a rule behind it, how to put the names.
Okay.
But for example, even India is Indian in German.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, this is the country, not nationality, and this has nothing to do with Indian.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, this is nationality, and for them nationality is Inder.
Indish.
Yes, Inder or Indish.
Indish. That was a new word for me.
Yeah.
Even they call it as Indar. Okay.
Yes. So, I mean, there is, because we are learning a language, na? If it were physics or maths, then we can correlate with some rule. But here there is no such rule. It's a language, so we have to accept it. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. No, I think so basically, if I understood it correctly, so from even Indians' perspective, right, we will never call China, right? It is China for us.
Yes.
Chin or
China.
China.
Yes.
In
Chin.
English, it is China. So
Yes.
in the
Yes.
same way, even for them, for us it is Germany,
Yeah.
but for them it is Deutschland, right? So
Yes.
probably, yeah, that is a native words for them, maybe.
That's right.
So
Absolutely
before
right.
English came into picture.
You're 100% right. In fact, our country's name is also Bharat.
Correct.
Yeah. And even Hindustan.
Yeah, Hindustan. Yes.
Yeah. So you are absolutely right. So the only thing is that the only thing that can help us out is we have to learn as much as possible. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because the more we immerse ourselves in this language, the more we learn. And believe me, friends, even today also I learned so many new things. Even last 4 years I'm learning German, but still the process is going on and on and on. Yeah. So before we end up today's session, I would just make a quick review of what we learned. And I request you guys, please stay in touch with this language because especially this alphabets is most important. Moment, actually, just a minute. Oh, 1 minute. Okay, so I request everybody to speak with me. A,
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 B,
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 C,
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 D,
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 A,
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 F,
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 G,
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 H,
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 E,
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 Yacht,
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 K,
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 L,
L,
I think Dr. Kishore made a mistake. It's not L. It's not L. It's L. Yeah. M.
M,
M,
Please. It's not yum. It's M. No. M.
M,
M. Yeah. Now better. Genau. N.
N,
N,
O.
O,
Yeah.
O,
Yeah. Make sure this is like you strike your elbow against a wall and you say, "Oh,
O,
it pains me. Oh no," like this, na? Oh.
O,
O,
Yeah. P.
P,
P,
Q.
Q,
Q,
R.
R,
R,
Yeah. S.
S,
S,
T.
T,
T,
U.
U,
U,
V.
V,
V,
V.
V,
V,
X.
X,
X,
Y.
Y,
Y,
Yeah. Z.
Z,
Z.
Now somebody tell me, how will I call this lady?
Victoria. I mean,
Victoria.
no. This is Victoria, but you need to spell it
Victoria.
different, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here, you have to make sure I mean, there is no rule here. The other way around, how will you call this lady?
Yulia.
Yulia. Yeah,
Yulia.
that's right. So here you call it as Yulia. That is ULIA, for example. But here you are calling not for Victoria. It is Victoria.
Yeah.
Right? So make sure, friends, whenever you are taking somebody's name, it's always better, 100 times better, that you ask her or him in advance that how do I pronounce your name. Yeah. Believe me, friends, for example, this is a name of a colleague of mine. So it could be Jacob also, because Jacob is also a typical name we hear in Europe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
And this could be Yakub also.
Yakub.
Yeah.
Yakub.
So make sure that, I mean, to be on safer side, this guy told me that he's Yakub. So that's fine. But if I were to say his name as Jacob all the times, then probably he would not have even, told me, and he would have always felt offended. Right? So as a tip here, especially for names, you can ask the owner of that name to please tell me how is the right way to pronounce it. Yeah. And for example, somebody name is Raja. I mean, an Indian name. So the colleague always used to call him as Raya only. Right? So make sure that, yeah. So because this colleague of mine, he did not told them in advance that this is how I should be called as.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it happened with our colleague Giriya. So her name was, Girija, her name is. So they used to call, and even, once she told that it is in India, it is J is J, not, yeah. So then they understood.
But
And
then,
still we call her as a Giriya only, in India, just to make fun of her. But yeah,
yes. So especially for names, I mean, this is a tip, as a professional tip, everyday life tip from my side, that especially for names, you feel free to ask the next person, how do I pronounce it right? And one more thing here, because this is the mistake that I made, ask for first name and second name clearly. First name and last name. Because, in Teams or in Google or somewhere, and many ways I have seen, sometimes the first name is written and then the last name, and sometimes the vice versa.
yeah,
So
correct.
you never know that last time Dr. Kishore, I made this mistake. I was taking his last name all the times. So make sure that you always ask them what is your first name and what is your Naknama. Anyways, that we'll talk later on. Yeah, Naknama and Phonama.
Our name is also,
Varnama. Varnama, Naknama.
Yes.
yeah, both are same, right?
No.
No, Varnama is our name.
Yes, Phonama is first name.
Yeah.
Okay,
Varnama.
forename.
Yeah.
Naknama is the last name.
Exactly.
Okay.
Last name. We'll take it up later on.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Today we learned all about these characters. I mean that umlaut and all that stuff is just the same. There's not much to emphasize upon. The homework for today is, which is actually a practical homework. If you were to call Finanzamt over telephone,
Yeah.
the first thing that the Finanzamt will be asking will be your Vorname, Nachname,
Naknama.
yeah, then Geburtsdatum,
Geburtsdatum.
yeah.
Place of birth.
This we will take later on tomorrow, and then he will be asking about your Straße or Anschrift.
Address.
Yes. Okay. So the homework for today is tomorrow you prepare your Vorname. I mean, if you were to Buchstabieren means to pronounce in characters. If you were to call your name in characters, how do you tell the other guy, this is your name, your Nachname, and your address? Address, I am talking only about your Straße, because numbers we have not done yet. Okay. And the last thing that I want you guys to make sure is your email ID. how do you tell the next person your email ID?
Email ID.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is Buchstabieren. Buchstabieren means to pronounce every character of the name. Okay, so this is your homework. I hope it's okay, na? This is not a very huge task.
No. I think that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
And this is very practical. Every maybe like it's very often that we face these things, and we should be
Yeah.
prepared for all these things.
I mean, I had a problem, so my German colleague had to teach because, for opening a account and all, if it is via telephone, they will ask,
Yes.
these kind of things. So I
And-
already been through it.
And,
Yeah.
and the problem comes when you have spoken something and the other person has understood some other thing. And
Exactly.
Yeah, that is a catastrophe actually. Then probably you'll end up with a bank account with a different name altogether.
Exactly.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, so I had fun with this class. And
Same here.
anything from your side? Anybody want to discuss or take any point?
I mean, I just wanted to give one classic example for we in English and FOW, right? So usually, it was a Volkswagen for us, but I came to know it's a Volkswagen after coming to Germany.
And
That was a classic example I'll always give to everyone.
Absolutely. I mean, I fully agree. This is a mistake I made, and even I made the mistake with Das Auto also.
Hmm.
I used to think that there may be some Das company in India because it's a very known surname,
Yeah,
and then I got to know that's Das Auto and Volkswagen.
the car. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay, guys. So let's meet tomorrow again at the same time at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Thank you
See
so
you.
much.
Ciao, ciao.
All right. Thank you. Bis später.
Bis
Vielen
bald.
Dank.
Bis bald.
Yeah, bis bald.
Thank you.